caught yourself missing someone who was in your life, but it's not anymore? And realizing that it's not even them who you miss, it's the life that you imagine with them. The house, the trips, the laughter, the version of you that existed when love still felt safe. And now it's gone. Not just the relationship, but the future that you built in your mind. That's what no one talks about after breakup. You're not only grieving who you lost, you are grieving what could have been, basically. So if you have been stuck in the loop of what if, or we were supposed to do this episode is for you, because today we're going to talk about how to let go of the fantasy, grieve what never was, and actually finally make peace with the life that didn't happen, right? By the end of this episode, you'll understand why your brain clings to the imagined story, how to stop chasing closure from the past, and the one exercise that will help you release that future so you can create a new one that's real. So welcome to another episode of From Breakup to Badass. I am Yanira, speaker, wellness coach, and your guide through the messy, beautiful process of rebuilding your life after the heartbreak. And if you haven't yet done so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you love this podcast, please leave a review because I would love to hear from you. All right, let's get into it. Because sometimes I believe that the hardest thing is to let go of isn't the person, it's the fantasy, everything that you put in your head, like a Disney story, right? So let's start with something that is real. So after the breakup, we don't just lose someone that we love. We lose the whole story that we thought we were living or we were going to live, right? The routines, the inside jokes, the imagined milestone, all of it disappears overnight. And I remember after my breakup, I always imagine myself being a grandma. So my ex-husband, he has 2 kids, and I thought that I was going to take care of their kids, right? So, and that we were going to keep traveling and growing older together, but that never happened. So it's not about just the person, it's about the future that you thought you were going to have that was never even real, right? So psychologists call this ambiguous loss, the kind of grief that has no funeral, has no closure, no clear end. Why? Because it never happened. So according to Dr. Pauline Boss, who coined the term, the ambiguous loss, is one of the most stressful human experiences because the person is gone, but their present still lives in your mind. Imagine that. And I think that's why it takes so much time, or it takes time to overcome a breakup, because all of the stories that you build in your mind, they're still there, even though the person is not there anymore. So, and you know what I think it's even more fascinating? A study from the University of Michigan found that the same brain region activated by the physical pain, the anterior cingulate cortex, and I have talked about it before, lights up when we experience emotional pain like rejection or heartbreak. So yes, when you say my heart hurts, it's not a metaphor, it's neuroscience. It is like it literally hurts. Your body doesn't know that you're grieving a fantasy. It reacts as if you lost something real, because to your nervous system, you did. And I love this phrase that I use it all the time. It's from Henry Ford, and he said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. So in your mind doesn't distinguish if it's true or not. Like if you believe you can, or if you believe that that was the future, your body thinks that that was it. So that's why you grieve it or you crave it so much, right? So let's talk about why we cling to that story. Why is it so hard to let go of something that wasn't even fully real because it was just on your mind? Because the brain loves pattern and it craves certainty. So for me, in my story, and the ones of many clients that I have guided through this process, when you're in a relationship, your brain built what psychologists call future memories, okay? Every someday, the trips, the holidays, the growing all together that I was mentioned to you about goes store on emotional snapshots. I mean, when I say that I thought I was going to take care of my grandkids, it's like I felt it. I mean, in my mind, I was such a great grandma, right? So when the relationship ends, your brain experiences withdrawal, just like coming off from addiction, from alcohol, from cocaine, whatever it is. A 2010 study in the Journal of Neurophysiology found that heartbreak triggers the same reward and craving systems as substance withdrawal. So it's more that than what I have said in the past. So that's why you keep replaying the old conversations or stalking them on Instagram, because it's your mind craving a dopamine hit, a story that no longer exists. So imagine that you have a sweet tooth, right? And you crave the chocolate. It's the same thing. You want the dopamine in your brain, in your reward system. But here's the truth, that you are not addicted to them, to that person. You're addicted to the potential. And I think when we think about it, it's easier to let go because I'm not missing the person. I'm missing everything that I thought I was going to have with him or with them. To the idea that what we could have been together, right? And that's where we get stuck. Loving not the person who left, but the fantasy of who they were supposed to be. So when I got divorced, I mentioned to you before, I felt like I didn't just lose a husband, right? I mean, we were a very good couple. We had fun, but I lost the idea of the family together, the grandkids, the house that we built together. It is true, like it's not in my life anymore. The version of me that existed in that marriage. And I remember one afternoon when I was packing, right? When I was coming back to Atlanta, I I was sad, and I wasn't I wasn't sad for him. I was sad for all of the things, like looking at my things all together, the things that I thought that were gonna be with us for the rest of our life. So the plans, the dream, the woman that I thought that I become in that story, right? That growing all together. But here's the beautiful thing, because, this is from breakup to badass. So this is the badass story. When that story ended, it made room for another one. And I think that's the beauty of it. Every time we let something go, something else come in in its place, right? So for me, the story that came to me, I found my purpose, and now I'm helping people or guiding people in this situation when they want to overcome this adversity. So I love that, because every time I'm on a stage, every time I speak, every time I with a client and I see the changes of that person, I'm like, this is the best that could have happened for me. And for that, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for the life that I had with him, but I'm grateful for the life that I have now and the woman that I have become. And I think that's the more beautiful part. So let's reframe this together. Every relationship is like a classroom, not a cage. And some teach you what love feels like, and others teach you what love is not. And I think we learn about this a lot. Like with my ex, I learned so much. And with every single relationship, I have learned so much of what I like and what I don't like, and what I needed to maybe to learn and to overcome, and maybe to change even in myself. And this is the work that we get to do every time adversity knocks at our door. So when you shift the pain to perspective, from attachment to aligning, you open yourself for growth, right? And you have heard me before that I always talk about Gabby Bernstein. I really like the way that she thinks and her message. But she says, like, the universe is always working for you, not against you. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. And I think if we can reframe every adversity thinking that this happened for us, not to us, and there is a reason behind it. And if we see the good side of it, I know sometimes it's challenging, but we get to overcome this faster. Anything that happens to us, okay? So maybe what ended wasn't love lost. Maybe it was redirection toward the life that's actually meant for you. Like it happened for me. I'm really happy. I'm really excited about all the things that I'm doing, the people that I'm helping learn to overcome adversity. And when you start seeing things and seeing endings this way, something magical happens. And I always say that for me, this adversity was amazing. Why? Because I use all the tools that I've been learning for many years with all the adversities and all the situations that have happened to me. So I'm really excited. And I used to say that I wanted, like, yes, I'm ready for the next adversity. Now I don't say it anymore, because I mean, I've learned a lot, and I'm sure something in the future is going to happen to me, and I'm going to be ready, and I am going to tackle it, and I'm going to overcome it even faster than I did with this one. So if you understand that the grief doesn't disappear, but it becomes lighter, I think that's what it is. At some point it becomes lighter. You don't get stuck in the process, and it starts to feel like purpose, like it was meant to be. So, what are some of the exercises, or what are the things that you can do to actually let go? And I love letting go. I think after I separated, I heard so many things about letting go, because, well, my life was turning upside down and many things. So there are several exercises that you can do. One thing is that you can write a letter, and if you have listened to the other episodes of the podcast, you know that writing is a very amazing exercise. So maybe, you can start writing a letter to the life that you thought you would have, right? Like, dear dream life, thank you for showing me what I wanted, even if it wasn't meant to be with me this time, right? List all of the things that you imagine, the trips, the milestones, the moments, and then maybe you can close with, I release you with love and gratitude so I can make a space for what's coming next, or for what's real. And if I had to write this letter, I mean, all the things that we were going to do together, or the vacations, or the life, or growing all together, it made me realize the things that I want and the things that I don't want. I mean, at some point, we as a couple had a communication problem, and that's why the relationship ended. And I don't want that. I want a relationship with a better communication. So if I can learn from it, that's amazing. So that's one of the exercises that you can do. You can also, I love when we use the mirror and we can talk to ourselves in the mirror. you know just the fact, if you can talk to yourself and you can say to yourself in the mirror, I love and I accept myself just the way I am, that helps. If you say things like, I may not have the life that I imagine, but I'm creating the one that I deserve, or I don't know, things like the universe has my back, or everything that happens for me and not to me. Your nervous system needs to hear that safety in your own voice. And this is so beautiful. That's why it is important that we say things out loud and not just in our head, because our nervous system is like, yeah, well, if she's saying this, maybe she's right. So I'm just going to take a look and I'm just going to listen to her. And maybe also another thing that you could do, if you feel like you start thinking about what could have been, right? Because at the beginning, I think, of the breakup, you start thinking, and again, any situation, like if you lose a job or different things that can happen to you, if I stay stuck in, if I see myself, right, that thinking that what could I have been, like going to the future, why didn't happen, maybe change it to what could still be, right, something different. So maybe I didn't have the trips with that man, but maybe I'm gonna have with my girlfriends or with another one that comes into place. And research from the University of London found that people who replace relational visualization with self-actualization visualization increase optimism by 30% in 3 weeks. And we want that. Okay. So visualize yourself. So instead of, if you catch yourself visualizing yourself with them in that trip, change it and visualize yourself in that trip with meeting new people. I don't know. So that's something that might work for you. So remember that what we talked about today is we're not just grieving the person, you're grieving the potential, the future that it's never going to happen. But potential doesn't die. It lives inside of you, waiting for new direction. And that's the beauty of it, because we live in a world of possibilities, a world that is full of things for us to experience. We just have to be open to it. And the version of your life that ended was not a failure. It's just a chapter. It's just like a book. Think about it. You're writing a new chapter in your life, and this is so important. And we can write as many chapters as we want, as long as we're alive, right? Chapters end, but the story keep going, just like the book. So next time your mind, is drift to that what if, whisper this to yourself: I blessed that was. You always have to be grateful of what happens, always with gratitude, because that was a lesson. And then you say, I release what wasn't and I trust what's coming. Remember that you're not broken. You are becoming another person, another identity. And that fantasy that you're letting go of, it's making a space for the new fantasy, for a new reality of what's waiting for you. And, your heart didn't break you, it woke you up. So if this episode resonated with you or opened something inside you, go download From Breakup to Badass cheat sheet. It's filled with reflections, tools, and practices that can actually help you rebuild your confidence, your peace, and your power. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear that they're not broken, that everything is going to be okay, that this is just another chapter and the best is yet to come. And tag me on Instagram at Yanira Pui Wellness. I love hearing your stories. Well, I think that's what I have for you today. But I'm going to leave you with the same thing that I leave you every single week. Remember, you've got this. Now go live like the badass that you are.